Hello and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm your regular host, Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, APC targets big wins in governorship election in the Southeast and South-South as Osinbajo campaigns for party in Delta, Akwa Ibom and other states. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Sam Ibemere. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Every politics is said to be local, but it is also territorial. The tendency to expand political base constantly oils ambition of politicians. Having captured the presidency, the governing All Progressive Congress, APC is striving to make inroads into Southeast and South-South geopolitical zones of the country by winning some governorship seats in the regions, targeting big wins in the governorship election. In the regions, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is spearheading APC campaigns to win some states in the two zones. On Monday, the number 2 citizen was in 2 South-South states, that's Delta and Akwa Ibom, to campaign for APC and followed that up with trips to states like Imo in the Southeast earlier. Babajide, in 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari in the whole region, that's South-South and the Southeast, did not make 25% in most of those states. And even in all, the whole Southeast.
In any of those states.
In many of those, in any of those states. And in 2015,
Yes.
he came so strong. Because his total votes in the Southeast, I think it was 190-something thousand in 2015. But in one state, states like Imo State, he had 140-something thousand. We know, courtesy of Rochas, Okorocha and everything. But in some of those other states, he made more than 25%. He got more than 25% in the South-South and the Southeast this time around.
Yes, I think the only state where I did not get 25% in the Southeast is
Enugu State. Yes,
State.
It was ruthlessly beaten there.
Yes, Enugu is a one-party state. Remember, I came back from Enugu and I said that last year, that even if the Deputy Senate President decided at that time to join the APC, he will not be re-elected because it's a one-party state.
It's a no-go area for APC.
That is a fact. That is a fact. When we say these things, you know, your friends on social media, some of them will be abusing us. They will even say, oh, Ijide is PDP. That is the depth to which they have sunk.
And sometimes they'll say it's APC.
So, no, some will say APC. You know, the painful thing.
You've not gone out of the two major
the
political
painful
parties.
thing is that, you know, the ones who support the APC, my critics among the APC are the worst of all. Because the question you ask yourself is that how do these people reason? Those who abuse us on Facebook and others, who are APC supporters,
They call them Buhari.
they are worse.
Hardcore.
They are worse than those of them in who are PDP supporters. Why? Because when the PDP supporters accuse you, oh, he likes the president too much, is this, is that, and they abuse you on social media, and sometimes you feel like not even going there, then the people that you expect that at least they will show some level of understanding, maybe because sometimes we overrate people's intellect, including some funny lawyers on Facebook. They are the ones who will now say, oh, no, he's supporting PDP. Every time you say the truth about a party, because it's your job as a journalist to try your best to stay in the middle. We all have preferences. I cannot hide the fact that I like the president because this is a man that I've been close to since the early 90s. And I'm still close to the first family. It's not something that you have to deny. You understand? But it doesn't stop one's professionalism that you have to do your work. And I'm happy that...
Criticize them as...
Yes,
as
I criticize them. I see the things that I tell them to do. I see them do those things. And it makes me proud. That when I criticize them that they didn't do this, they go ahead to do it. So that makes me proud. It shows that I'm doing my work. It shows that the president is seeing those things or seeing what I do on the program. you know, and it's making amends. What we want is a better country, whether you are the PDP or the APC. So if you support what is good, then the country benefits from it. So if you criticize the APC, because the APC is the ruling party, Nigeria ultimately benefits from it. If you criticize the PDP, you want democracy to get better, because it is even better for us if we have two dominant parties, one challenging the other. They don't see it that way. They don't see it. They don't think that far. Oh, he must praise us all the time. He must praise the president all the time. I see the job I do here, I've been mandated to praise the president. No, that won't happen. I will criticize the president when I need to. I will criticize the PDP when I need to. That is what defines me as a journalist. And the people who sit on Facebook and abuse us at every opportunity for being objective, there's nothing they can do about it. In fact, we will now weaponize the objective criticism so that they will eventually cause them to just leave us alone, since they can't change us.
Another option not to watch.
They can't stop watching.
They can't stop watching.
You know, there is this former editor of Vanguard, Chris Okoje. He had a column at that time, and he called himself, was it Chris Okoje or Ojagbase, Sonny Ojagbase,
Okay.
who described himself as the columnist you can't ignore. You must read. At that time, you must read. Because it was very controversial, but it makes sense. Sonny Ojagbase and Chris Okoje, they were in the Guardian at the same time, and they were writing excellent columns. And as a secondary school boy, I was reading them. You enjoy reading them. So they make sense. They criticize, but they make sense. So you must read them. So they are, as much as they abuse us, every day they still want to watch what we are
What is happening?
Why don't you just leave them alone? So it's a problem.
Let's go back to the advantage.
So
we're talking about Enugu State.
Yeah, Enugu State, I've said it before, there is a one-party state. That election underlined that fact. Buhari didn't get 25%
there.
Yes. And in this election, the governorship election,
That's between Ayogo Eze and the incumbents.
it will be a rout. It will be a rout.
Senator Ayogo Eze and Governor Ogwani.
Yes, it will be a rout. That's my prediction.
PDP all the way.
It should be a rout. You know, one significant thing that also happened. The man who brought all of them together, including Sullivan Chime and the rest of Sullivan Chime, by the way, he left
not
to
in
join.
APC.
He's not. He went to join the APC. Some people said he went to join so that EFCC would not harass him. Nobody knows what went on in his mind when he joined. But the man who brought all of them together, that is Ebiano.
Senator Chimaroke
Namani.
Yes.
He's back.
In the Senate, he won that ticket.
He's back. You know, so bringing him back has solidified that base, because he's the one who built those structures that the Enugu PDP continues to use now. So he's back. The governor, Ogwani, is like a recluse. He doesn't talk. He hardly grants interviews because he hates controversy, but the people like him. And he's also a governor who manages to get support across even party lines. I don't know how he does it, but some people are just gifted. That people, whatever they do, people will be happy with them and people will support them. He's that kind of person. So Enugu, for me, is very easy. In fact, it's easier for the PDP to win in Katsina than for the APC to win in Enugu State.
It's easier.
It's easier.
That calculation.
It's easier
for the PDP
to go and win
is
in
almost
Katsina
impossible.
than for the APC to go and win in Enugu State.
Sam, Abia State. You know, Abia State started with Oji Zokalu in 1999. Uchendo Global 2007. Now we have, what's the name of this man?
Which of the parties?
Abia State Governor, the PDP man.
Yes.
How?
The governor of Abia State.
Ikpeazu.
Ikpeazu. Governor Ikpeazu.
Yeah.
Yes. So he ran against the Abga man, Alex Oti, in 2015. Close contests close contest. He won. At the end of the day, he won the contest. Controversial election. Alex Otti went to court. He lost in court. Now, it has been divided into three. It's not going to be a race between Alex Otti, Ikpeazu, and the APC man.
Uche Oga.
Uche Oga, yes.
The oil man.
Yes, Uche Oga. And APC did well, relatively well, in the last election.
Yes.
Orji Zokalu is back to the Senate. He won his senatorial position, and President Buhari was able to gather enough votes, more than 30% in Abia State.
Yeah, I will agree with you that the Abia race is going to be quite close. But before I proceed, I'd like to add to what Jude said earlier, very quickly, concerning the chances of APC, which he has concluded is pretty very slim in that state. I think that is made worse by the fact that I read only today that APC wouldn't even be on the ballot.
Nenugu.
Yes.
Nenugu too.
Yes. So if that is true, then
like that.
Yeah, then it's a foregone conclusion.
Court,
Now back to Abia. Abia is an interesting case, really. I've just looked at the figures. During the presidential poll, the difference between the PDP and APC was a little over 134,000 votes. That would seem, that would seem large. But if you look at the personalities involved in the Guba race in Abia, these are very strong characters. Alex Otti,
Yes.
Uche Oga, and
Incumbent.
and incumbent. So it's not going to be a 1+1 thing. Yes, on the surface, it will seem that the South is a conquered territory, for the PDP. But I think that for Abia, we're going to have an interesting case, on our hands. And that is not helped by the fact that the incumbent, Ikpeazu, appears to have a bit of challenge in terms of, I wouldn't call it baggage, but the man, he succeeded, appears not to be too well liked. And then he sees as Orji's boy and all that. So that might not help him. Against the background of the fact that you have an Abga that has become pretty very popular in the Southeast. Of course, it has always been. It's just that the party has not been able to, get its act, together. But in Abia, you can't say an Alex Otti who gave the ruling party a tough time at the last election is going to be a walkover. The same thing for Uche Oga.
Well,
very popular.
Before
Uche Oga, very young. He's considered.
I think it went into a run.
It was very, very close. But like I said, for Uche Oga, a very young man and all that. So he's got philanthropist, and he enjoys very wide, very large following among the youths in Abia. So Abia is going to present an interesting case. I wouldn't want to, say, with every measure of certainty that because PDP, had a good showing in the presidential polls, then that means it's going to be a walkover for them. Don't forget that if you compare what happened in 2015 against 2019, the gap appears to have closed very significantly. So I think that we should just fold our hands, and watch what happens in Abia.
Babajide,
very close. It's going to be very close.
Ebonyi State is another one-party state.
But now the APC is doing well there, and people expect a close contest.
One seat, that governor?
The governor should still have an edge in the final analysis. The governor should still have an edge, but people expect a tough battle because the APC has made some progress. They've made some gains in that state in the last few months. So you expect that the APC will do well, but I will still give the governor a slight edge, no matter what happens.
The governor is a slight edge.
But just as he said, for Abia, it's a very tough race. It's very tough. I don't think the governor has impressed the citizens of the state. I don't think it has
Abia
impressed
is,
them that
dirty.
much. You know, Abia is a small community. Yes, yet it's very dirty. They've not been able to fix Abia.
The major
And that's
problem
a
is
big
that
problem.
Abia is meant to be
And
a
the president,
tourism attraction.
the power project that the president also took to the heart of the Abba has also made a lot of those traders to want to support the president, to want to support the APC, and coupled with Oga's stature, because the young people like him. He's a philanthropist, you know. He has the resources. In any permutation that we do, we must not leave out the place of money, because vote buying has come to stay in our country. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about it. All the parties are involved. They tell you that some party does not bribe voters. It's a life on the pit of hell. They are all involved. They see no shame about it.
Especially, unless those ones that they don't have the watchers.
Which, in my view,
two major ones.
They are giving voters money. The evidence of it is there, which means that we're actually weaponizing poverty. When you give people money to go and vote for you, you are weaponizing poverty. And it's a shame. But what can we do? It started like something small, but it has become an integral feature of our politics, of our democracy, of our electoral process. So the battle in Abia will be close. Ebonyi, well, it may be close at the end of the day, but I expect the governor of Ebonyi to carry the day. But it's difficult for me to predict.
What we have
For a lot of them in Abia, they will want, so that part of town or that part of the state had not produced the governor until now. And so people will say, okay, let them do their two terms and go. But it doesn't always work like that in politics.
It doesn't always work out like that.
It's
I
tough
think the
race.
other factor that we need to consider here is the return of the one-time governor of that state, Oji Kalu, into reckoning. And you expect that the party is going to throw everything it has into that election. They may have their differences, but with an Oji Kalu backing Uchoga of APC, we expect that the battlefront is going to be a very tough one. But I see a very close race. I see a very close race.
Another area of interest is going to be Imo State, Babajide. Imo is going to be interesting. And Imo
That's my state.
Yes. Imo is already, you know, a journalist like me, I'm looking forward to what will happen in Imo State because it's so unpredictable. We have Emeka Ihedioha, one-time deputy speaker of the House of Representatives.
True.
You know, from the People's Democratic Party. We have the APC is having Senator Hope Uzodinma.
It's actually a 5-horse race.
Hope Uzodinma.
It's a 5-horse race. Former Governor Ikedio Akim is
from
coming out
from
Accord Party.
And is it Accord?
I think it's Accord. Yes, Accord Party. Ararume is coming out from Abga. The governor's in-law, Ugumba, Uchewosu, is coming out from AA. You know,
Action Alliance.
Then we have Hope Uzodinma for the APC and the PDP candidate, Ihedioha. When you look at the complexion of politics in Imo and the pattern of the presidential election, you will expect PDP to carry the day because PDP dominated the presidential election in Imo. They won far more House of Rep seats, especially than other parties. They won a senatorial seat. One is still inconclusive, but the candidate of the PDP is ahead, which means that they can. That's Imo North, which means PDP may come away with 2 senatorial seats from Imo State, leaving APC to take that of the one that Rochas got. And then the other thing is when you look at the demographics, Owerri Owerri has the highest number, Owerri zone has the highest number of registered voters. And that is where Emeka Ihedioha comes from. So if he gets good support on election day and is able to get votes, no matter how little, from across the state,
From Olu
yes,
from
Olu and Okigwe, the two zones, he may just carry the day. But we have Ararume. Ararume is from Okigwe. His people are not likely to live, and he has always been strong, you know, and contested so many times. And then Ugumba, the Ochenwosu, the candidate of the governor, he has the support of youths. And let's face it, the grassroots, they are with him. And everyone fears Okorocha because of his ability to organize and his capacity as a political tactician. So nobody knows the joker that he can come up with on election day. He's a very intriguing man. So you never can tell what he will come up with. And he's backing this person wholeheartedly. So if you ask me, for a 5-horse race, I can narrow it down to a 3-horse race on election day. That is Hope Uzodinma, because APC, federal support and all that. You know. Then Ugumba, the candidate of AA, and then Emeka Ihedioha. So it will become a 3-horse race on election day. But just like we said about Abia, is too close to call. Maybe just the two of them. Maybe at the end of the day, Emeka Ihedioha and Ugumba.
Some of the lawmakers.
That's his state. Maybe
Yes, Sam. Some of the lawmakers that I know were in APC actually left APC. I know one of my friends left APC and is running under the platform of Action Alliance, a sitting lawmaker. Do you understand? For you to know the extent of.
I think they even won two. Is it
two House of Reps?
Yes.
2 House of Reps.
The Action Alliance?
Yes.
They won two.
I shared Jide's sentiments that we are likely to have 3 candidates, you know, in a very close fight, you know, for the Guba title.
Making Imo another state to watch out for.
Exactly.
Of course.
When Jide spoke about, or when he described the governor, the incumbent governor, as a political tactician, you know, it got me a bit agitated. We might not want to put, you know, words to it, but the truth of the fact is that Imo presents an interesting scenario. Yes, the governor may have won that election for his senatorial seat, but we all know from what we have read that there are controversies surrounding it.
Yes.
How he picked it up, you know, there have been, you know, allegations of, you know, the collation officer being held, you know, on that. Yeah, we cannot, and that's.
There could be more intriguing things on election day for the governorship.
That's why I said allegations, you know. And
but not far from the truth,
yeah,
because the primaries, we were told that the primaries, somebody was held hostage.
No, but since we don't have proof, let me say, you see, Nigeria, we have to be careful. I've been in that situation before. When you now run the story, this person made up with the other person, and that person said, no, that he didn't say so. So you will now be the one to go to court and be struggling with this other person. So let's be careful. Politicians are not people that we can
vouch
treat lightly.
You know, but you know, see, what we're dealing with here is what is out in the public, and it's a perception issue, whether we like it or not. Is that story out there? Yes, it is. Is it likely to shape or influence the way people are going to vote? Maybe to some extent. You know, so the weight that we contemplate that the incumbent governor might bring to bear on his son-in-law who is running, it will be neither here nor there. So I agree that it's going to be a very close race between these 3. In fact, we might have a situation where in Imo, the winner might just go home with a marginal win. You know, of course, it's going to be simple majority, but these three individuals, these three individuals are pretty strong on the ground. What you said, Uche has a lot of following among the users and all that, but we also must remember, but we must also remember the fact that there is great, and this is my take from what I see on the ground, that a lot of people don't seem to be too pleased with the fact that the governor is perceived as wanting to have his son-in-law go into the government house by any means.
Okay,
you know,
so 2023.
Yeah, no, not 2023. I mean this election 2019.
Okay.
I'm talking about Uche Nwosu.
Yes,
so it's a fact on the ground. It's a big minus.
No, he must have lost a lot of support.
Yes,
but the young people are following Uche Nwosu all over the place. I was there. No?
Yeah, what is there on television might not.
No, I went there. I went there. I spent over a week there.
Yeah, you could be on the ground and see all those things. You talked about the influence of money.
All of this they've got a lot of money to spend. When we talk about
that's what I'm saying. I never
all
knew
of this
that the president was going to have 140-something thousand votes in Imo State.
Yes,
but
he did. The ruling party in the state, whether we like it or not, is APC. So it can't get so bad that he won't even be able to deliver 25%
of his votes there.
No matter the problems that they have, the division that they have. But you see, the thing is, sometimes voters can put some of these sentiments aside. But whether we like it or not, it is not a plus for the governor that of all the options, he's had to come up with his in-law. And many people are not happy about that. But there are people too who will see nothing wrong about it.
That's
you know, at the end of the day, what we are looking at is a fair contest between the three top gunners. And at the end of the day, it's the better person that
I doubt very much, again, this is my personal view, that we're going to have a free, fair, credible contest in Imo State. I doubt it.
Okay, let's see how it goes. APC targets big wins in governorship election in the southeast and south-south as Osinbajo campaigns for the party in Delta State. We'll be right back after this time out. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Journalist Tanga, your favorite program on television, reaching you from the station of the year, TVC. And we are in the south-south now, south-south region. We've just finished the southeast region, and we said it when we were on break that after the election, we're going to be back to do a post-mortem. What happened? Did our prediction come to pass? So we are going to the south-south region now. South-south. Delta State now. Delta State seem to be in firm control of the People's Democratic Party. And although the candidate of APC is a perennial contestant. Great Ogboru contested under Labour Party, contested. I've had to, cover election Ogboru versus Oduaghan. He has been here and there, but with Patrick Okowa, is it Patrick Okowa?
Yeah. Ifeanyi
Okowa, he seemed to be very, very much on ground. And when you look at what happened last Saturday, the result of the election, that we still have James Manager beating the immediate past governor, that's Duahan. And James Manager has been there since 2003.
No, he has earned a return to the Senate now for a sixth term. This is
probably one of the oldest in the Senate.
Yes. Right now, he could be the oldest in that Senate. Sixth term. So that's significant. That means since the advent of democracy, it's been there.
It's been there.
He is Ijo, minority, but what I heard was that the former governor of the state, James Ibori, supported him in the battle
against his cousin.
Yes, because there are 9 local governments in Uduaghan's senatorial zone, and 3 of those local governments belong to Uduaghan's ethnic group. So other people, because it's part of Warri,
Okay.
that was carved out. So Warri South. So it needs the support. Each of them needs the support of people of other tribes to be able to win. And at the end of the day, the just manager was re-elected. You see, there's something interesting happening in Delta. In 1999, it was Ibori, an Urobo man, that won the election. He did his 2 terms.
Yeah.
After that, it went to Warri South constituency, where Uduahan came from. And then Uduahan too did 2 terms. After that, it went to Delta North.
Yes.
That's where
Akwa.
Okowa comes from. Okowa has done 1 term. He's gunning for a 2nd term. The argument of some of Ibori supporters, as I heard, is let him do
2 times.
2 terms.
So
when he does his 2nd term,
senatorial
it will
districts.
come back. It will come back to us. So the Urobos will take their shot at the governorship again. So what we have is a seamless transition from one senatorial zone
district
to another. And it's been seamless without any problem. Then, of course, the Jos, represented by Jess Manager, have also had seamless passage to the Senate through their own through their son, James Manager. But Omagege, Delta Central, there are 8 local governments there. Nobody has been able to dislodge Omagege because he's very strong and he will play a part in this election. Great Ogboru from Abraka, also part of Delta Central. So what could then decide who wins that election is where Ibori goes. Ibori remains the undisputed leader
Godfather.
and godfather of Delta politics.
Ananefe.
Ibori, even in prison, installed a governor. In prison, he kept a governor in power. So this time around, it's back home. Everyone, they are looking at where does he go? Who does he want us to support? He has that grip on his people. He has that support of his people.
Clowns.
So if Ibori says, okay, let the governor complete his term so that he comes back to Urobo land,
At the end of the day,
Delta Central, then
home and dry.
there's nothing that will stop Okowa from winning the election. Otherwise, if they are to go into this contest without any form of gentleman's agreement, then it will be a potentially explosive contest, because the Urobos, that is Delta Central, though they have 8 local governments, they have the population to actually determine who becomes the governor.
What's the take?
Yeah,
Delta State.
Yeah, I will agree with Jide that the arrangements, the political arrangements, which has existed in Delta for a while, appears to have worked for them, is a major point to consider. In fact, a similar arrangement was agreed upon in my state. They call it the Charter of Equity. You know, I'm sorry we are returning to it, but it hasn't worked the way it has done in Delta State. Because if you look at Imo, you have a situation where the Olu zone appears to have held on to power for almost 16 years. And they are still eager to continue to hold on to power. So I think that has worked, you know.
At least Hope Uzodinma is from Olu zone.
Yeah. So in Delta, I will agree that Ibori remains a very influential factor. And I think that the stakeholders within that environment are likely to continue to watch watch him and the way his body language, will go. But one interesting thing, remember the VP was in Delta, to mobilize voters for the ruling party. And he said something that struck me. He said that though they lost in Delta, that the fact that they were able to curtail the margin between what PDP used to obtain in that state and what they now have is almost like a victory. And he went spiritual, saying that he hopes that what has started, even though it was some kind of defeat, will turn out good for them in the end. So I think that it's a very humble way to acknowledge that Delta is going to remain a very strong battleground for for the ruling party. I've just looked at the data again.
But it has never been this zoning
the last in 2015
it has been a PDP state
in 2015.
All through and through.
In 2015, PDP had over 1 million votes. So the fact that the margin has come down to a little over 370,000 for the ruling party is great mileage for them. So there is this hope that it will even get closer.
That's how Buhari was able to.
He
just had to go to the enemy's ground, cut vote.
Exactly.
At
Exactly.
the end of the day,
if you look at what has happened in Akwa Ibom, the president has appointed so many Akwa Ibom sons into his administration. All because he's targeting winning that state. Because those are the few states in the south where 1 million votes are guaranteed. You have more than 30 local governments in Akwa Ibom, so it's a big state. The same thing with Rivers. Rivers is big. You are guaranteed about 1 million votes at least in Rivers on a good day. Even this last one, despite the fact that more than 940,000, we had shorting of about 940,000 votes as a result of cancellations in 6 local governments. Rivers still returned more than 600,000 votes. So you can imagine if those 6 local governments, if they had voted, it would still have moved close to at least a million.
That's true.
He's been targeting those big states.
But I think for Kowa too, there is also this perception that he's done well for his people. I hear back home they call him the road master and all that. And he's been quite visible. His campaign has been, a bit loud. I mean, all over the place and all that. I hope that works out for him. Beyond the fact that Delta is traditionally a PDP state. Yeah.
Rivers, the All Progressive Congress, as at today,
they are not on the ballot.
They are not on the ballots.
I think you should add
they are likely to. What?
Yeah, that the other party that would have come close to giving Wike a shot has also, their court party appears to also have this advantage.
Dumo Briggs lost in court. Dumo Briggs, many APC members were waiting to support Dumo Briggs, so that, because he used to be part of APC. So the intention was, if eventually he won, then he could come back home. The same way Ikedi or Hakim came back home after
winning with PPA.
Yes, Bazoum just said at that time, look, PDP, we don't have a candidate because he didn't want Ararume to emerge. So that was the hope. But at the last minute, they were dealt this blow, and Dumo Briggs lost in court. So now, the leader of the party, the APC in the state, is yet to make a pronouncement as to who.
So they must look for an alternative party.
Vote for. They want to do that because at the end of, even in the House of Assembly elections, they will back some candidates in the belief that those candidates, if they win, they will come back home.
Yeah.
So if, for example, they back a candidate for governorship and that candidate wins and he comes back home, then the APC would have returned to power in the state. That is their plan. They are not simply going to leave the field for Wike, to just simply run riot on election day. They are going to give him some challenge. That is their plan. But for now, we don't know. People are speculating, is it ADP, but nobody knows which candidate that APC will back.
To the election.
And if it stays like that, Wike already, even APC at the
With
height
all
of his
APC
powers.
Wike
is strong.
So formidable.
Wike is strong. PDP is strong in that state. So at the end of the day, even if you look at the pattern of election, this last one, scoring more than 500,000 votes, despite the fact that the biggest local governments, some of the biggest local governments, elections didn't take place in them. So that should tell you that the party is strong. So it looks like Wike has had his way.
A walkover for Wike.
Yeah.
The way it looks.
It does.
The way things stand now, yes.
It does look so. And I think what the PDP intends to do, like Jide said, is to ensure that even though they're not going to be on the ballot, they don't lose out completely. They're going to have their guys go for for the state assembly elections and all that, so that you don't end up in 4 years without any followership. You understand? One hopes that
and it was so unfortunate for Toyeko.
Yeah, that we don't get to experience the kind of
a gentleman.
So unfortunate.
A redeemed church pastor.
Yeah, but like I said, we hope that we don't get to experience the kind of violence we experienced at the presidential election. Yeah.
Let's go to Cross Rivers now. No big deal about Cross River State.
No.
Professor Ayade is waxing strong, and it has always been a PDP state from 1999, from the time of what's our presidential aspirant name? Donald Duke. From Donald Duke to Uncle Liel Imoke, from Liel now to Professor Ben Ayade, and so it's like a natural enclave for the People's Democratic Party.
I believe so.
It's a PDP state, and it shows even by elections that were held last year, PDP won. So it's a PDP state, just like Taraba. So I expect the governor to return, although APC has really worked hard in that state in the last, but they are also not helped by the infighting. You see, their candidate and Uguru, going to court, this and that. Uguru at the last minute lost the battle. Who knows? And Uguru has even been suspended. So it's likely to tell his supporters to go and vote for the rival party. So
the next state is Akwa Ibom. Uncommon defector, uncommon senator, Warsaw war, and Warsaw. We saw the presidential election, and he was roundly beaten by the deputy governor to the former deputy governor to Ibom, Victor Atta. That's Ekwenyong. What happened? Uncommon defector.
Yeah, it would seem so that he was roundly beaten, but the party is not taking it lightly, if you ask me. Well aware that the VP was in Akwa Ibom, a day or two ago, I think yesterday, and he sounded quite combative. He had gone there to represent Mr. President, and he had alleged openly that the mandate was stolen, whatever that means.
In connivance with INEC, according to him.
Yeah, and in trying to rubbish INEC, the party also came short of asking that the resident electoral commissioner should be removed from the state.
The activist, Mike Igini.
Mike Igini. And Mike is not somebody you want to, paint with a tar. He's got pedigree, and he's been an activist of note and all that. So I have this concern, about what is going to play out in Akwa Ibom, given the combative, message that the VP, has passed on. And in trying to rubbish INEC, I think that doesn't also do justice to the entire process. But the way politicians are, it's time for rhetorics. You want to do all that you can, to sway the votes to your side. But having said that, I doubt if the ruling party, APC, even with all the support of the uncommon defector, Senator Akwa, will be able to, change things in their favor in that state. I really have my doubts.
Jide, it's going to be a contest between Governor Udom and Akwa is not on the ballot, but you know, by proxy. It's going to be a fight between his godfather, Governor Udom, his historical godfather, and the person there is Sima Ikere, the NDC Sima for APC. So,
Akwa is godfather to both of them, Sima Ikere and Udom. They both served on his cabinet. The truth is, Akwa is PDP. I said it here before. They can play back where I said it. That Akwa's impact is exaggerated. As I always say, time is always my witness. I said it, that Akwa's impact is exaggerated. And that election proved it. Out of 10 local governments, Akwa lost 8. There is no APC leader of note. I repeat, there is no APC leader of note who won his local government on Saturday. Not one in that presidential election. Not one. Sima Ikere lost his word. That's the person who is to be governor. He lost his word. You see, politics is local. Akwa once boasted that PDP is a religion in Akwa Ibom. They can't suddenly stop being a religion just because you left the party. You left the party, the big wigs, the strong people like Basi Abe, the senator, is the strongest politician in Akwa Ibom today. The whole of Uyo zone, he didn't lose a single polling unit. And you had big appointees of the president from Uyo. We have people like Udo Edehe from Uyo, and he defeated all of them. He didn't lose a single polling unit. You see, politics, you need a lot of organizing. What Governor Udom did was to bring youths together and mandated them to man polling units. Like a case of putting like 100 youths in each polling unit so they can see what's going on. They can defend their votes. So if the VP says Guinea and others are compromised, I'll be happy to see evidence of that. Or the matter should be taken to court. Akpabio has filed the matter, as I heard. But you can't sue at this stage because the court will throw away your case, because the court will see it as a post-election matter. And post-election matters are supposed to be handled by the tribunal. Faleke once filed that kind of suit before Justice Ademola, and Ademola declined jurisdiction. So how an Akpabio is a lawyer will not know that it is even wrong to file a case at this point? I wish I understand. An election has been conducted. Result is out. And at the point when he was, he was behind.
That he went to go and get a court injunction stopping INEC of giving.
That is what I'm saying. Yes, that's what I'm saying now. Because the election has been concluded. So you can't at this stage, whatever happens, the regular courts cannot handle. Because it's a post-election matter. It has to go to a tribunal.
Wow. You know? Our time is fast spent. What's happening in Edo State?
No, there is no election in Edo State now.
Okay, there's no governorship election in Edo State.
So it's still Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom, the PDP will win in Akwa Ibom. Maybe the APC will do better than they did in the presidential.
In terms of figure?
Yes, in the presidential election.
And some House of Assembly seats.
You can see, I don't know about seats, honestly, because even in this last election, they didn't concede a single seat to the APC. All the senatorial seats, all the House of Reps is taken away. Not even in Akpabio's constituency did he get a single House of Reps. So this is the point.
It's critical.
Yeah, it is. But
the day determines the night, as he said. This PDP is very strong in this state. Maybe after a few years of constantly making the people happy by appointing their big people into top positions, because the president has tried for Akwa Ibom people. They've never had this good. But the truth, in spite of that, they are emotionally attached to this PDP. And they are reluctant to leave. I told you then, I said, if Akpabio was wrong, why didn't key people go with him to the APC? He didn't go. The person who left, the key person who left, or not even key, is the member of the House of Assembly from his constituency. After that, nobody else left.
So
They are still intact.
Again, I hope that the polls in Akwa Ibom, end up being free, fair, and credible. I've expressed my concern about the combative message that the VP put out. And only days ago, we heard that there was some show of force, in that state, and you wonder why, some of the states in the southeast are being singled out for such military activity. So maybe Akpabio himself and members of the APC in that state are banking on federal might, and we only hope that nothing is done, to truncate the processes by dragging the military into these elections.
If it didn't happen for presidential election,
I don't see it
happening.
We all witnessed to what happened in River State.
We see the River State. The violence was mutual. Both parties used violence against one another.
Balance of
those guys who went to attack the military, who ambushed the military, they can't be supporters of APC, for example. They can't. So it was mutual. This is the nature of politics in that area, because a lot of the people contesting, some of the people on the ballot are ex-militants. Before you can take an elective post from them, you must be ready to fight. You must be ready to bring your gun and fight. So that's why the the politics in that area is like that.
And they want to take.
Yes, and even House of Assembly that they are going to contest now.
It takes a coup.
There are still some ex-militants who are in the current House of Assembly in Rivers. To defeat them, you must bring out your guns. The only person that that the governor appears to fear is Flag Amakri. The current chairman of Ojukai, the current chairman of Amechi's faction, because that one too matches violence with violence. So this is the thing. That's why politics in that area will continue to be like that.
All right, we continue tomorrow. We continue with our projection and estimation of the region. We've done northwest. We've done northwest yesterday. We've done southeast today and south. Tomorrow, likely southwest.
We'll do northeast. We'll do southwest.
So we'll do southwest and see what we'll make out of it.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Sam Ibemere.
Thank you so much.
And the master himself, Babajide Kolade. Thank you.
I greet our viewers.
And that's it on your regular program, Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. And also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.